Let's talk about something no one wants to admit. What if you are the toxic one? I know, it's a tough pill to swallow, but just like Yoon Ji Woo, sometimes our worst enemy is ourselves. Toxic behavior attracts toxic people, and if you're constantly finding yourself surrounded by drama, you might want to take a closer look at the common denominator, you. Now, what does it mean to be toxic? Toxic doesn't always mean evil. It's more about unhealthy behaviors that poison your relationships and your life. Whether it's control, jealousy, or lack of trust, these actions create a cycle of negativity. And guess what? People who thrive in toxicity are drawn to it. Yoon Ji Woo's life is a roller coaster of betrayal and violence, but a lot of that stems from her inability to break the toxic cycle. She's obsessed with revenge, and that obsession only brings more toxic people into her life. Are you letting your own toxic patterns invite drama? Now the question is, how do you know if you're the one attracting negativity? Well, lucky for you, I have 3 warning signs that you might actually be the toxic one. 1. You're always the victim. If you constantly feel like everyone's out to get you and you never seem to take responsibility for your part in a situation, sis, it's time for a reality check. Yoon Ji Woo was always quick to blame everyone else for her pain and anger. Sure, she had reasons to be upset, but her constant victim mentality pushed away anyone who tried to get close. Sound familiar? Maybe you've had friendships where you always felt wronged. She never texts me back. He's always busy. But did you ever stop to think, am I contributing to this? Maybe you're holding grudges, playing the victim role, or waiting for others to prove themselves to you. That's a sign of toxic behavior. 2, you're easily triggered and defensive. Here's a tough pill to swallow. If you find yourself getting defensive over every little thing, you're probably toxic. Yoon Ji Woo pushed people away by snapping back at anyone who questioned her or gave her advice. She saw it as an attack instead of a chance to reflect. You know that feeling when someone gives you a little constructive criticism? Like, maybe you should try this instead, and you immediately feel your blood boil? Yeah, that's a sign. Instead of reflecting on the advice, you shut it down and go on the defense. The reality is, you're blocking growth by acting this way. 3, odds are you sabotage relationships. Another red flag? You're the queen of sabotage. Yoon Ji Woo pushed away anyone who got close because she didn't trust anyone. And in the process, she lost the few people who genuinely cared about her. Ever find yourself pushing away good people because you don't want to get hurt? Maybe you've ghosted someone who was treating you right, or you start picking fights just because things are going too well. That's a form of self-sabotage. And trust me, it's toxic. These warning signs are tough to face, but the truth is, acknowledging them is the first step to breaking free from toxic cycles. If Yoon Ji Woo could break her patterns, so can you. All right, you've recognized the signs. Now it's time to fix them. Breaking the toxic cycle isn't easy, but it's so worth it. Here are 5 steps to help you turn things around and start thriving. 5 steps to break the toxic cycle. 1. Take ownership of your actions. Own your stuff. It's easy to point fingers, but true change starts when you acknowledge that you might be part of the problem. Ji Woo had to face the fact that her actions pushed people away and fueled her loneliness. Practical tip: take 5 minutes each day to reflect on how you might have contributed to a conflict. Write down moments where you could have responded differently or taken accountability. This simple practice helps shift your mindset from blame to ownership. 2. Practice self-awareness and emotional control. Get to know your triggers. We all have those moments that send us into overdrive, whether it's criticism, rejection, or feeling disrespected. Ji Woo often reacted impulsively, which only made things worse. Practical tip: when you feel your emotions spiking, pause for a moment. Breathe. Ask yourself, why am I reacting this way? Before responding, give yourself time to calm down and reflect. This helps you gain control over how you handle tough situations. 3. Set clear boundaries with yourself and others. Set boundaries with yourself and others. Ji Woo had to learn that not everyone deserved her time, energy, or trust. It's the same for you. Stop letting people cross your lines because you're afraid to push back. Practical tip: write down 3 non-negotiable boundaries for yourself. Things like not letting others guilt you into doing things or not engaging with people who drain your energy. Stand firm in these boundaries and don't be afraid to enforce them. 4. Focus on your growth, not others' opinions. Start focusing on your own growth, not what others think. Ji Woo was consumed with revenge and other people's opinions for too long, but when she started focusing on her own journey, things shifted. Practical tip: every week, choose one personal goal, whether it's reading a book, taking a class, or working on a skill. Celebrate small victories along the way and remind yourself that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. 5. Cut off the toxic relationships. Let go of toxic people. Ji Woo's biggest breakthrough came when she stopped letting the wrong people take up space in her life. You deserve the same freedom. Practical tip: take a hard look at your relationships, whether it's a friend, partner, or family member. If they constantly bring negativity into your life, it's time to distance yourself. Start small, limit conversations or hangouts, and gradually make more space for people who lift you up. Breaking the toxic cycle isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every step forward is a step toward the life you deserve. Sometimes, the only way to break free from toxicity is to walk away. Whether it's toxic friends, a toxic partner, or even your own toxic habits. Yoon Ji Woo learned this the hard way. Don't wait until it's too late. Look, breaking the toxic cycle isn't easy. It takes guts, self-awareness, and a whole lot of determination. But the good news? You have all that within you. Like Yoon Ji Woo, once you decide to make that change, there's no going back. You can start living the life you actually deserve. If you're ready to leave the toxicity behind and step into your power, then hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs this wake-up call. Let's level up together.